It's good. Hey, good evening, guys. How's everybody's day going so far? Nice and warm again today. It's been a relaxed day. Thanks, John, for asking. We got some fresh sweet corn for supper here. I'm gonna husk that and just finish up feeding here. We'll have to feed one more time yet tonight, late tonight. There's a couple topics I'm going to talk about. I'll tell you a little bit of story about me. So if I forget about that one, remind me. We're going to talk about if any of you guys have tractors or like tractors, what is your favorite year, favorite style? Talk about that a little bit. Yes, the new John Deere 330G will be here tomorrow morning, so we'll not see the New Holland anymore. I mentioned in another video, I thought I better say something about that. I said the machine didn't work out for my operation. Doesn't mean it won't work out for somebody else's operation. So, not saying anything good nor bad about it. So, if any more questions on the New Holland L230, it's just like when I buy another vehicle. If I bought a used one or a new one, you know, sometimes I'll get a lemon and the next person will grab it and best truck in the world or best car or whatever. So we'll talk about that. Tell you a little story about my very first combine experience with a 7720 Titan II. And a little bit more on the... Oh, she's doing good. They're just behind me here a little bit, relaxing a little bit before we make supper. We're going to have sweet corn tonight. It's pretty nice out here. Soybeans should be up Monday morning. Come over here a minute in this shade. Right there they are. Just about ready to pop through. And you see them starting to turn green on the neck there. They'll pop through. Right there they are. So they should be out of the ground tomorrow morning. A little moisture tonight. And we'll see what our population is. We'll do a population count. Probably Tuesday or Wednesday. And we wanted to be at 220,000 seeds per an acre. I'm not going to go out there. Hey, thanks. I want to explain a little bit about, some of you guys seen I had a little bit of a mood swing. A lot of you guys don't know my background. One thing I'm learning really fast, not to read the comments, but I do like interacting with you guys. I like the questions. So that's where I like YouTube, where you ask a question, I answer it, but then there's some questions that are very tearing you down, I could say, a little bit. Well, in the beginning when I wanted to farm, I had a lot of people tell me I'll never make it. I'll never make it, over and over and over. So that kind of built in my mind. When someone tries to tear me down, I get very defensive. and it's a very bad habit, but at the same time, you have to realize where I come from, maybe a little bit more. When I was a young kid, I wanted to run a combine so bad. I didn't care how I could get in one, but I wanted to run one. So I'm going to tell you a little story about me. So one time a neighbor, this goes way back, had a 7720 Titan II machine. And I just had a vision, I think I might have been 10 years old, I don't know, a vision of running that machine for him one day. And so the machine, make a short story here out of a long story, the machine broke down one time. And so I walked out, I was just kind of interacting a little bit, and I said, if I can fix it, can I run it? And he kind of turned around. I don't remember the whole detail of everything because I was pretty young, and he kind of looked at me, I think, like in shock, first of all, and I said to him, hey, if I can fix it, can I work on, run it? And I think, if I remember the conversation, this goes back when I was around 10, 11 years old, I guess, I don't know, maybe a little older. And he said, yeah, go ahead, if you can fix it, you can run it. Now on the 7720 Titan II, I know I have a lot of good mechanic background too, by the way. Has a shaft, if you guys remember the cab, it's set off to the side. The engine was up front, and it drew a big shaft across the back behind the cab to drive the machine while a bearing was out. And so I said to him, it started sleeting a little bit. I think we were doing corn, or he was doing corn at that time, and so he got the parts, and what I did was I said, okay, I'm going to fix this machine. I didn't know anything about a combine back then, but I was guaranteed I was going to run that machine because that was a highlight of my life at that time, to run a machine. So I remember getting the parts, I remember the shaft being heavy, and it was sleeting. It just started sleeting, and in corn harvest, if you ever sleet, it kind of gets a mess because you get ice on the husk and it clogs sieves up. But anyway, so I remember throwing a tarp over the top of the machine and bringing a ready heater and working on that machine, and I did get that bearing fixed, and came back and the bearing was in, and he kind of checked over things, and I think he was kind of surprised, and he said, well, I guess you fixed it, I guess you have to run it now. Now, as a young guy that has no farm background, you have to it reminds me of my son, my oldest boy. I think I had the biggest smile on in the world. And I felt like the king of the world back then, as a young age, running a 7720 Titan II combine shelling corn. And that's where my passion to farming is. But to get where I am today, in a real nutshell, I was tore down a lot. And so when I get tore down, I get very defensive. And I get defensive, then I get angry. And when we started to tell the story with our life, as with my wife and our 3 kids, there's a lot of great guys out here on this channel and stuff. And as soon as somebody starts tearing it down as a fake operation or something like that, I get defensive. But I shouldn't read those comments because there's so many good ones. And that's where sometimes I will snap. And sometimes I'll go after somebody else and I'll tear them down because I don't like being tore down, and it just doesn't make me feel better, and I don't feel great about it. But at the same time, when you start pulling someone's operation apart, they don't like it, and no one likes it in the world, really. And does that make me a better person? No. I feel, I don't like that stuff, and I don't want my kids to be tore down. So as life went on, I got more and more into mechanical. I have a very good memory where I can actually take an engine apart and put it back together and have a running machine. I did a 4020, a 4440. I took a 9600 combine, John Deere 9600 combine. You can stand in the front. I cleaned it out. I took out the cylinder. I took out the walkers. And when you would stand in front of the machine, it was completely gutted, and rebuilt it. No manuals. I did it on my own too, and I was a young guy. I did quite a few different pickups, motors, and stuff like that. As time went on, my mechanical skills were like pretty good, I would say, where I wasn't afraid to tear anything apart. So just keep on my story here a little bit, just so you guys understand me sometimes. So, you know, there's some guys will leave comments that are just negative. And I'm a collector in many different ways. I like collecting tractors. I like collecting antiques. I like collecting cattle. And it's a little unique, but some people might think it's odd. But I have 3 different series of John Deere tractors, 3 different years right there sitting. And we got the newest one is a 5075M, then the 8320, and then the 4250. The interior on the 4250 is not bad. I started rebuilding that inside. I put a brand new dash in it, and my goal was to restore that back to new eventually. It's a very strong running tractor, very good tractor. By the way, that's my first big horsepower tractor, and so that's my pride and joy in the tractor world. I wanted to start out with a 4440 power shift. I drove one of them, 4455 series. I love the 55 series, but I wanted a 4-wheel drive tractor. And before I bought the 4250, back then I was looking for a 4440 and a power shift. And back then, when you start looking at tractors and, you know, on a very little budget, there was many tractors I was just about so close to purchasing at a young age. But everybody said, you know, you're never going to make it in farming. You're never going to make it. You're never going to make it. I tell you what, you tell that to some young boy enough, it changes that person. And it changed me. And when someone says I'm not going to do it anymore, I have it. And I'll push myself so hard to get there. And now I'm trying to manage my life where, you know, someone steps on my toes, to let it go. I'm not perfect, but at the same time, if you guys understand, look in your own lives, and you have somebody tearing you down in your own life, it's not fun. Especially when they tell you you're not going to make it in farming or wherever your heart is. My heart is into farming. So, but the thing is, it's nice when people do ask questions. Some of the questions are very good. They're just wanting to learn. And but then there's the question or two that just they want to tear you down, and it's just like, you know, there's where I need to look the other way and say, hey, you know, this guy doesn't understand. He's never been here on the farm. There's quite a few guys that watch YouTube have been here on the farm, and they've seen the operation up front. And but you know, yeah, I could take you in the 4250. I don't have it cleaned up right now on the floor and stuff, but it's really, it's getting there. I still have the roof kit to put on and the side kit on to put on yet. It has a brand new roof on top. I put a new dash cover on that. I put the new 55 series in there. So I'm slowly putting it back together where I want it, where I can, you know, that tractor's more of a showpiece for me now anymore. Not more of a workhorse, but if it can do a couple jobs, that's great. But anyway, I'm not trying to run around circles here. I'm just trying to explain this a little bit. And I'm not going to read too many comments at the moment. Why do I hire tractors out? Because there's guys in our area that need horsepower, extra horsepower for the day. So I will send the tractor out. The main tractor that goes out is the John Deere 8320 and the 5075M. The 4250 is a very hard tractor for me to let go. I'll let one guy use that tractor, and it usually sits on a corn grinder or pumps manure. Thanks, Ontario Cash Robber. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at, it's another way. It's another way to create income on the farm. And you know, you sit all these tractors around, and you got the 55 inside over here. I walk in here. There's a lot of people new to the channel, so I'm just going over little things here. So those are my two tractors will go out. The 55 in here, 255 is kind of a tractor that stays with that baler. These two don't go anywhere, but they kind of stay together. In the beginning, I would never unhook that tractor to do any other work but bale. Kind of sounds funny, but we are a custom operation, and there's a lot of things you don't see, or we'll get a phone call and, you know, we got 30, 40 acres laying over here, 20 acres laying here. Can you get to me? No, the lawnmower is not going to be out anymore. I'm going to try to get him a new gator here. You know, I still own the other lawnmower yet, and it's down at Deer Country. And see, I get off track real quick with my stories, so I hope you guys don't mind that, because anyway, I get a question, I read it, and I shouldn't, because I get off. But I have the other mower, the 757 yet, and Deer Country did fix it up for me. And what we're going to do is, I was thinking about trading that one off on a gator for him to run around, and not a new one. I'd like to get a new one, but I just don't justify spending, you know, $15,000 for a gator. I'd rather have another big workhorse like this. These guys, you can charge $100, $110 an hour when they're out working. A John Deere Gator cannot make you money. It's more of a luxury item. Luxury items on a farm are nice, but when I purchase something, when you purchase something, I kind of want to make sure it's going to make money. If it doesn't make money for the operation, we can't justify putting it into our operation, if that makes sense. The other mower was done. I put two motors on it. One I had to rebuild. This last one, they put new head gaskets in it. And the 757 is just not enough horsepower for our operation. So we went to the bigger one, which is really nice, the Z970R. But anyway. So as I'm realizing on YouTube, everybody likes big and the newest equipment. So if you want to keep up with everybody, you got to purchase new equipment. Yeah, the new gators are around $28,000. I haven't priced any out yet. It's one of those things. It's got to be a thing to make money. I like big horse tractors. There's going to be another big one here for a little bit till we decide what we're going to do as far as a new baler. Are we going to put it on the 8320? Are we going to purchase another tractor? There's a lot of plans coming into that play. It'll all happen this week. So again, a lot of days there's not enough horsepower here on the farm, especially if you send the tractor out. When a tractor goes out on a job, it's making me money. As long as it's being taken care of, I'll come back here and I'll go over it, check it out. But as far as the gator, that's the plan for that, trading one of the mowers off and getting him a gator so he can haul milk around for the calves and stuff. He does work hard, so it's one of those things that, you know, I like to get things. No, I'm going to stick with John Deere. It comes with a pretty good price tag. But again, it's what I'm happy working on. If that makes sense. I do like the case. I did look at a brand new 300. There's just not the room in the cabs like I like. John Deere doesn't either, really. I was in quite a few new tractors already. Who's going to run the John Deere and the baler? The new one I plan on doing the running. My son eventually can run the case. You know, people think, why do you need 2 balers? There again, I'm always growing in my operation. There's always going to be somebody that's going to say something and it's going to step on someone's toes. I realize that on the internet now. But for me personally, you know, I don't like it, and I know a lot of other people don't like it. So when I leave a comment, I try to leave a positive comment on someone else's channel, and yet they don't find it a positive. But anyway, the MX is going to stay here on the farm, and that baler. The problem is now I'm at the point where my kids are not quite old enough to take off and go on a job themselves and work on the baler if something happens. I know my oldest boy could run the MX 255 in the same field that I'm running in, and it would work. If something happened, I can come around, I can fix it, and go again. And I know some people don't see that as making sense, but it'd be a good way to... It is a good way of us to keep the operation going and keep the boys interested in the operation. The oldest boy, his heart is in farming, just like I was. I could see myself in him. He loves working with the cattle, and he likes working with the tractors and stuff like that. So it's up to him to decide if he wants to, you know, change a career down the road. But he loves dairy. He would love to have a dairy someday. The beef cattle business goes to the youngest girl. Brooke Caitlin is BK Angus, and you know, she loves the cattle. Well, we have everything can go away when we're not using it. A piece of equipment sitting outside is not going to be the worst thing for it. I know the combine sitting outside, that is, I agree with everybody, that is hard on it. But at the same time, you have to justify putting a building up for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. You cannot just put a machine shed up and justify putting a machine in that you're going to trade off in so many years. Does it hurt the value? Honestly, I don't think so. As long as you have a good running machine, it's not going to hurt the value. Paint, you can wax out. You can do a lot of things. Putting a cover over a machine like that, it allows the rodents to get in there. And it actually is harder on a machine than letting it sit out, because you do not want rodents chewing the wires. There's a lot of wire harnesses on that. Some might disagree with me, but you have to realize you have wire problems on a machine, it's worse than bearings, because you do not go anywhere. You cannot turn it on. You can't start it. They'll chew on anything they can if it is enclosed tightly with a tarp. And it's actually harder on the paint, because if the tarp's not tied down right, it's going to rub the paint. I'm telling you, I'm a big fan of believing in wax. I love wax. I love wax and stuff. It is going to save the paint on this machine and a couple other ones. But what I'm trying to get at here is, yes, I understand a shed is perfect, ideal for a machine like that. But it, again, like I said, if you're going to trade them off every so many years to pay for a shed, you know, you're not going to put a shed up anymore for less than $50,000, and you're going to do a lot of the work yourself. Yeah, that's right, Jeffrey. And you know, as I started building this operation, I guess I was pushing too hard. If I would allowed some more time for my kids to grow up, but when you let your kids grow up around the machinery, they learn to respect it. They see you how you operate it. They see how you can fix things, and they're learning. If I would have waited another 10 years and started, I don't think my kids would be interested in the farm. Even try to run things, you know. So, which your left and my left are two different things. I got the one here, the little one is on the John Deere 5075M, and then the 8320, and then the 4250 in the back. So anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about it, and then you guys can interact a little bit, what you like, what series of tractors you guys like. I know a lot of you guys like the newest series on the market, and that's the R series. They're awesome tractors. How is the combine keeping? It does not really work. I'm not quite sure, again, to answer that question. Like I said, I like the 300. The 300 is a really nice tractor. It's a nice short wheelbase. But anyway, the cab, I'm not sure how to answer that one yet. Sorry. But the cabs on the MX, which I can show you, that has a lot of room in the back. The 4440, that is a wonderful tractor. The old 4000 series, yeah, I'd love to have a John Deere 4000 power shift. That's a very nice tractor. 4020 is and the bell, yeah, there you go, Simon. The bell is a kind of a way of telling us here on the farm we have two bells. I'll show you them here quick. And wait for the kids to get my attention. I stuck a bell in here, so if the kids want to get me, they'll come in here and they'll hit it. And I can hear that from a distance, and I can know that they need something. So we have a bell here at the shop and a bell at the house. And if the kids want something, now mom's home and stuff, so I know that the thing is, the combine is paid for. And maybe you guys don't understand that. It's not costing me anything. So, yeah, maybe get rid of it. But New Holland's the best tractors. New Holland makes some great tractors. Yeah, the bell is a really good thing. Kids can understand that, you know, and the bell is a big one. I can hear all the way across the farm. If I hear that thing ringing, I need to go and find out what's wrong or who's here or what's going on. But anyway. So wait, yeah, you know that that movie was shot here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But when I'm looking at another tractor, a big horsepower, I want to make sure we have plenty of room, because you know we're expecting a new one. And lots of room in the cab, because we're going to have another car seat to put in the cab for a little bit. Dinner bell, yeah. Yep, supper's ready, or there's an emergency. But I know supper's not quite ready yet. Because I didn't husk the sweet corn yet. So when I look for another tractor here, There is going to be a new one here coming. So, we're going to say, hey, that's not big enough. We need more room in the cab. What can we do? What size of tractor do we have to get? What brand? At this point, I still have these kids, and we're building up, the operation where at a point they'll be able to run one of them or two of them. Massey Ferguson, I haven't looked at any of the tractors up close. Again, I've been all about John Deere. It's just the way I like them. And with the baler being the steaks are burning on the grill. Steaks were last night, I believe. Sweet corn and hamburgers tonight. So, but I have to do it, so I know dinner's not ready. That's exactly right, Ralph. Keep up with the dealer that stands behind you. When I bought this tractor here, the 5075M, I had a little bit of electrical issue. They brought me a brand new one. Up, and it was here for 3 or 4 weeks until they had that one there figured out. So they brought another tractor up, a bigger one, until they made things right. Yeah, and the dealer that's closest. Closest is not always the best thing. The best thing is the service and how fast they want to get here and how fast they want to jump in and bring another tractor and to make things right. No, you're not right. You're not wrong. I am working another deal out on this machine, so that's a whole nother story. That's something you'll see as it comes. If I tell you the whole story as it is now and it changes, it's so hard to go back in your story and say, why didn't you do it? So when you see that machine there sitting, one day you might not see it there no more, and then I can go ahead and explain the story, where it's going, what are we doing with it? Are we going to go with a newer model? Are we going to do something else? But at the point, no. It's one of those things. I like to keep everything current, what we do here on the operation, but at the same time, I don't like to go into details. But yes, there is a deal I'll be working on with that machine, and it has been a deal working on that machine. But till you see something brand new sitting in its spot or another item, then I'll explain the whole story. It's the same for any of my equipment. There's stuff parked here and there all over. Right, return on investments. So, the loader on the tractor, which one? The brand new the 5075M? We are buying. We buy everything. Yeah, that 5075M is a very nice utility tractor. Very, very nice. I think it's one of my favorite newer style tractors that I had. I had a couple other John Deere tractors, a little bit smaller size. A lot of you guys didn't know that I was into produce. We raised a lot of sweet corn here on the farm. And another thing you guys don't know, that we had Ford tractors here. Ford, yes, I said Ford. And the 4250 is a very nice workhorse. And there's a lot to the story on you guys that have been with us for ever since you started on the channel. Different pieces of equipment came and gone. We had a Ford 4000 here, the TN70 SA, TN7060, and now I forget what the other one was. Yeah, the 4250 is a power ship. Yep, the 8320 is a nice tractor too, a nice workhorse, powerful tractor. And that tractor, I mean, you can see in some of the videos, pulling tankers, pulling spreaders, the turbo till. Last winter I didn't make some videos, but that tractor was up to its belly in mud, and she would not stop. She's a workhorse. She just wants to go. We had a really rough spring, all the rain, so we had a lot of manure to haul, and we were hauling in mud, which was very hard on the soil. And I know this stuff. The beans are just about there, Ralph. Tuesday they should be turning green. Monday they will be out of the ground. They're just right there. Tonight they'll probably pop out with the cool air. So, a lot of my old viewers, I just want to apologize for some of the things I say, some of the videos I make, but I tried to explain it. If you can go back and watch it and, you know, understand me a little bit. I don't like to be told that I can't do it, I'm doing it wrong. I feel that I'm doing what I'm doing here is just perfect for what I want. And but how many hours on the tractors? I'll do another video on that again. I think the 5075M has 900 hours on it now, roughly. So they're all low-hour tractors. Yes, they're all low-hour tractors. What else was I gonna say? So I'm gonna try to do a better job not reading all the comments, and we are based on a family channel, and if you guys get upset at me, you know, there's ways to express yourselves without swearing. We don't like to swear. That doesn't make us any better than anybody else. But you know, if you want to leave a comment and you want to make your mind, you know, present, there's so many different ways of saying something. To say, hey, you're wrong, and that's it, you know. But at the same time, you know, I'm not perfect, and I don't think anybody here watching is perfect. And there's so many different ways of getting your point across. So we do have a lot of kids that watch our channel, especially with the cattle, especially with a farmer's son. You know, he really enjoys making videos. So well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and don't forget the pigs. Yeah, and the pigs, our goal is with the pigs is to breed a couple of the females and make them into sows. I love the green paint too, but it comes with a high price. And I love looking at new tractors, and I love running new tractors. As a young person, I got to run a lot of new equipment was out in the market. Forage harvesters, I had all kinds of opportunity with John Deere. And I could tell you stories that you guys wouldn't believe one after another. And, you know, it's amazing the amount of things I got to experience in my lifetime. And that's what I want my kids to do. And so I think I'm going to let this live stream go here. We're going to go ahead and the second favorite tractor's not here on the farm yet. I have a lot of favorites, but they're not my second favorite. Yeah, they're all super expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to work on the sweet corn, and I'll probably just do another video and put it up later. We're going to have a drone here flying shortly. It's only money, that's right. Somebody has it if they're willing to give it to you. So I hope you guys have a great evening. I'll make some video of flying the drone and over the farm. Yep, a drone from Farming Above. He was coming up here a little bit later on. So I hope you guys have a great evening. And I'll have another video coming out here later tonight. And it won't be a live stream, but I just wanted to explain a little bit, and I hope you guys understand. We don't all have to get along, and but we need to have respect for everybody that's out here, and I haven't done a good job of that. So I hope you take my apology for that, and just so you understand. All right, guys, we'll talk to you a little bit. Have a great evening, and I'll have another video here later on tonight.